Vital Farms is a very interesting small cap stock that could either explode or implode. That's the question, of course. But it is definitely an interesting stock for further exploration. So what does the company do? It sells eggs, keeping it bullshit free. Well, that's what we'll mainly keep doing in this analysis. And one thing to know about eggs is that the whole market is starting to become quite attractive as prices are rising significantly. So right now, egg businesses are doing quite well. Also, take a look at Pilgrim. That's another big egg farm. Now, what's interesting is, and it's good to know this, Interactive Brokers also points out that Wall Street analysts are optimistic, blah, 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 and pay attention. There is, of course, a positive bias, so always be cautious with what analysts say, including us on YouTube. Videos, take everything with a grain of salt. Do your own research, in this case also on Vital Farms. And we present this as an interesting small cap idea for 2025 because it has both strong supporters and detractors, and that can certainly lead to significant price breakouts in the short term. Morningstar gives a fair value estimate of 28, which is well below the current price. Interestingly, they indicate an economic moat that is small. Let's dive into why that is. Maybe because of the branding aspect, but not much information is provided by Morningstar. Let's take a look at analyst ratings. They are a bit more positive, 43 price target at the current price of 40. But what's especially interesting about Vital Farms is the potential growth it can achieve, which is of course supported by the entire egg market. The historical listing isn't very long. There's not a lot of information available, and the current price earnings have also risen significantly, namely 35. You can also see two significant price drops here, and the current price earnings is 35. Now, let's say that the current EPS growth estimated by analysts is realized at 10% and 30%. That might not be enough because then the price earnings would have to come out around 20. But often you see that it hovers around 15 or even a bit lower. So Vital Farms can actually go in two directions, either very well or very poorly. And because the current valuation is actually not positive at all, the factor analysis has also been adjusted to a hold instead of a strong buy. So it might be interesting to wait here just a bit short of my price. The linear about that means a bit more. Like with Schmear, a few things still stand out. The loss ratio of 0.2 seems very low, but look at the current valuation. It's on the higher side for a commodity company. Even though they do a bit of branding, I would personally still be very cautious. Well, it's a small plus, almost no debt, no liabilities, so that's good. Revenue growth is really quite impressive. For next year, an EBITDA growth of 80% is estimated. You see the growth figures. That's why this A0 scores so high in the factor analysis, at least for a longer time, until the valuation has risen significantly again and it has become a hold. We're currently seeing equity very high. We're seeing total capital very high at the moment. Very interesting for the short term, but speculative. I would say it's promising for the next 6 to 12 months. ZegShake gives it a hold rating only for the very long term, especially at the current valuation. I wonder if that's going to be a success. So why on the short term then? Because sometimes the growth can be so strong that the higher expectations are exceeded. Recently there has been a lot of volatility with the price dropping by 36%, and then again by 35%. Then there were also two very strong rebounds, so it seems like there might be a strong support distance level here. Note that we are long-term investors, but we always make use of the game of technical analysis. This is just a classic example. Here you can see a current support level forming at a previous price peak. And yes, you can say what you want about technical analysis, but in the short term, it definitely has an impact on the price, so make use of it. It would be very interesting to see what the price does right now around 40, and also if it breaks through, what happens to the price at 46. If it breaks through there, it could really take off. The market is starting to become positive again, so it's definitely interesting enough to take a closer look at Vital Farms.